friends, my name is Sarah and today I am here to share my summer book haul. So thanks to the Summer Olympics, I kind of fell out of my booktube groove for the last couple of weeks. I am not a sports person really at all. I don't care about football or baseball or soccer or basketball or any of the normal sports that people watch on a regular basis, but once every 4 years when the Summer Olympics rolls around, that is basically all I talk about for like a week and a half, which if you follow me on Twitter, you know that that is the case because that's pretty much all I've been talking about since the Summer Olympics started. My feed has been pretty much just full of USA gymnastics and swimming and diving and volleyball and the like. But now that sadly the Summer Olympics have come to a close, we can get back into a somewhat normal routine. To get us back into a little bit of a groove, I thought I would jump in with a book haul. It has been a couple of months since I did my last book haul at the end of the month of May, and I have acquired around 23-ish books since then, so we're just gonna jump on in. Up first we have Enchanted Islands by Allison Amend. So a couple of months back, there was a promotion where you could join the Book of the Month Club for 50% off for 3 months, and I decided to give it a shot, and this was my pick for my June box. It is a historical fiction novel that follows a woman named Frances Frankowski, or Frances Conway, and the first half of the book follows her relationship with her best friend Rosalie, and the latter half of the book follows her time as a spy for the United States living on the Galapagos Islands in the years leading up to World War II. I read this book back in July, I believe it was, and very much enjoyed it, so it was definitely a good pick to start off my 3-month stint with Book of the Month Club. Up next we have Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. This is a young adult historical fiction novel that recounts the tale of the greatest maritime disaster in world history. It follows 4 different teenagers from Eastern Europe leading up to this particular event during World War II, and it was absolutely beautiful. I also read this in the month of July and loved so many things about it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I am most likely going to be doing a full video review on this in the months to come, but suffice to say, it is a fantastic book, and I am so glad that I picked it up. Up next we have the special edition paperback box set of the Harry Potter series, including, of course, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and my personal favorite, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. So I clearly already own a hardcover set of the books and I'm starting to collect the illustrated edition, but guys, the covers of these books are just so lovely and they feel wonderful, and I'm that Harry Potter nerd that is going to wind up with 3 full sets of the series, but it's just so pretty. Up next we have another box set, which was the Puffin in Bloom editions. These include A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett, Heidi by Joanna Spyri, Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery, and Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. So I already own these 2 books, but I did not own these ones, but regardless of my ownership of various copies of these, you cannot deny that these covers are just absolutely gorgeous and splendid and wonderful, and I just had to have them on my shelves. So similar to my dilemma with the Harry Potter box set, they're just really pretty, guys. They're just really pretty. Up next we have The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the first book in the Kingkiller Chronicle, which is a adult high fantasy series that follows a man named Quoth, who has done all sorts of things, and this man named the Chronicler has come to this inn that Quoth now runs to have Quoth tell him his life story. Back in the month of June, I went to New York City, and on Sunday morning I stopped by the Strand, which, if you are not familiar with it, is a fantastic bookstore in Union Square. It has 18 miles of bookshelves and is just delightful, and they had this hardback edition for only $9, and it was in perfect condition, and so I could not pass it up. I have since read it, gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I'm really excited to jump into the sequel, The Wise Man's Fear, sometime in the near future. Up next we have Essentialism by Greg McKeown. I've talked a little bit before about the fact that I've become a minimalist over the last couple of years, and essentialism is basically minimalism but for your life as opposed to your stuff, and I'd heard really great things about it from a lot of people, and so I decided to pick it up. I have already read it, gave it 4 out of 5 stars, really enjoyed it, really got me thinking about a lot of different things about my commitments and the things that I choose to do in my life and stuff, and I will be talking a bit more about it in my August wrap-up at the end of the month. Up next we have The Summer of the Great Grandmother by Madeleine L'Engle. This is the second book in the Crosswicks Journals series, which is a series of 4 memoir-ish type of books that Madeleine L'Engle wrote about life and faith and creativity and family and relationships and just all of the things. I read the first book in the series, A Circle of Quiet, last year and absolutely adored everything about it, and so I just decided to pick up the second book. I haven't read it yet, so I have no thoughts, but I love Madeleine L'Engle and I loved the first book, so I have no doubt I will very much enjoy this one as well. Up next we have Paper and Fire by Rachel Kane. This is the second book in the Great Library Trilogy, which is a YA dystopian/alternate history series where the Library of Alexandria was never destroyed and has turned into a dictatorial superpower that controls all access to knowledge. I read the first book, Ink and Bone, earlier this year and absolutely adored it, and this one was released in the beginning of July, and so I picked it up and read it right away and really enjoyed a lot of things about it, but it did suffer a little bit from middle book syndrome. I talked about it in my July wrap-up, which I will link below for you to hear more thoughts, and there is also a full review of it on Goodreads. Up next we have Rich and Pretty by Rumaan Alam. This was my book of the month pick for the month of July, and I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm blanking a bit on the story, but I know it's about female friendship, and it just sounded really fascinating and interesting, and I have been trying to read more diversely both in the characters that I read about and the authors that I read about, so I'm really excited to pick up this particular book, and I just really enjoy stories about female friendship too, so I'm excited to jump into this one hopefully soon. Up next we have The Locust Effect by Gary Haugen and Victor Boutros. So Gary Haugen is the founder and CEO of International Justice Mission, which is a nonprofit that is dedicated to eradicating human trafficking around the globe. And The Locust Effect is a book that Gary and Victor Boutros wrote about violence and the role that it plays in global poverty and human trafficking and all sorts of stuff. And IJM came and did a presentation at my church back in the month of July. I really enjoyed it and decided to pick up a copy of this book. I followed IJM for a couple of years now and really just love the work that they do, so I am excited to jump into this book and read Gary's thoughts. Up next we have Good News About Injustice, also by Gary Haugen. That same night that I went to the IJM presentation at my church, I also got a copy of this one, and this one is a bit more focused on the biblical foundation and principles and the things that the Bible has to say about injustice and oppression and things like that. And once again, I love the work that IJM does and the heart that Gary Haugen has for justice throughout the world, so I am also very excited to jump into this one in the near future. Up next we have Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. If you have not heard about this book and you are around the booktube scene, you've probably been living under a rock, because this book has been buzzed about so much over this summer. It is a family saga that follows several generations in one family from Ghana and starts back, I believe it's in the 18th century, and works its way all the way up to the present day, and I have just heard nothing but incredible things about this book from everyone that has read it, and so I'm really, really excited to dive into this one sometime soon. Up next we have The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. This was my book of the month pick for the month of August. It is a thriller about a group of people that are on a cruise ship, and one of the women thinks that she saw someone fall overboard, but all of the passengers are accounted for, and that's about all I know, but I'm really excited to jump into a new thriller. And finally we have Present Over Perfect by Shauna Niequist. Shauna Niequist is one of my all-time favorite nonfiction authors. I love every single thing that this woman writes, and I have been excited about this book since she announced it on her blog over a year ago. The subtitle is Leaving Behind Frantic for a Simpler, More Soulful Way of Living, and I've already read this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It's fantastic and wonderful and amazing, and I will be talking more about it in my wrap-up and in a full review that's coming soon. Well, there you have it, friends. That is my summer book haul. If you have read any of the books, I would love to hear your thoughts, so please let me know in the comments below. And if there is one that you specifically think I should pick up soon that I haven't read yet, please let me know as well. If you want to follow me elsewhere online, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, all at Sarah Ann Hayes. The links for those profiles will be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye! Bye! Dystopian/art. Up next we have these special. Oh, that could have ended very poorly. This is heavy.